Hello, everybody. Welcome to your midweek motivation with our CubeFit motivation class. Before we get started today, I wanted to share about a program we have coming up called Create a Colorful Plate. This is a 4-week nutrition-based program aimed at helping you to increase your fruits and vegetables. And as an outcome of that, become healthier with all of those nutrients that you're adding into your body, as well as weeding out by adding in so much nourishing food. You will automatically be weeding out some of the not so nourishing processed foods, hopefully. So register today. The challenge starts on Monday, only in a few days. And when you register, the following day you get information that you need to actually prepare for Monday. It'll be helpful if you register sooner rather than later. So the QR code is there. And Jenny, maybe later on you can share that link in the chat box if you happen to have it. I can do it at the end if it's not there, but I'll have to switch screens. So anyway, my name is Alita Dodema. If you haven't been to a CubeFit motivation, welcome. Today we are talking about accountability and motivation. How does accountability motivate people? Does it motivate people? Well, external accountability is what we're talking about today. And that is when there is something external that is holding you accountable to an outcome. So that would be a person, or it could even be a payment you need to make. Having that external accountability may or may not work for you. And the reason it may not work for you is if you have a personality tendency as a rebel or a questioner. And so what these are, there's more information up on the screen at this website called Gretchen Rubin's 4 Tendency Quiz. At this website, you can take the quiz and you can find out more about if you are an upholder personality, a obliger personality, a questioner personality tendency, or a rebel. If you're a questioner, you're not usually likely to follow through or be motivated if something doesn't make sense to you, or if you don't understand the why behind the action that you are being told or held accountable to take. An example of this is if your boss tells you you need to have a report in by a certain date and you feel it's just fluff work, you may not do that. However, if you do understand that the report coming in on a certain date, how it's going to impact you beneficially or impact the project and something that's important to you, you likely will follow through on that. If you're a rebel, you have a hard time following through on external accountability. If someone is wanting you to do something, you have the tendency to rebel against that and do something opposite. And even internal, what you're wanting to do internally, you can even rebel against that. That one can be a little bit confusing. But sometimes challenges and being told you can't do that can actually be motivating to people who are rebels. Now, I'm an obliger, which is probably the exact opposite of a rebel. And my daughter is a rebel. So I have to figure out how I communicate what it is that I want her to do in the opposite to provide that motivation for her. If I say, I do not want you to eat this protein before your meal because whatever, even though I may want her to do that, I'll just have to tell her I don't want you to do that. And then she'll be in her rebellious tendency, want to do that. And then I'll pretend to say, oh, okay, whatever. Or a way to work with rebels is you can do this or you can do that, but here's the outcome of either option. It's up to you what you want to do. And ultimately they have to decide what they want to do. But that said, accountability, what we're talking about today, is the most powerful strategy for obligers. So those who are obligers are those who readily meet outer expectations, but they struggle to meet inner expectations. They're more likely to oblige someone else than their own what they would like to see or have done. So for me as an obliger, I have known that accountability can be very powerful for me, which is why it's best if I keep that in mind when I'm setting up strategies to enhance my motivation to follow through on certain tasks. So right now I'm actually working on a large project about to present. And what I did to motivate myself was schedule the presentation for a certain date. I didn't wait until I got the presentation done. I scheduled it for the date, and I knew I would have that would hold me accountable and motivate me to get it completed. So, or I would tell my boss, please ask me to have this to you by a certain date so that I will have that. Otherwise, it's indefinite, and I have a hard time feeling motivated to work on it, where I feel more motivated if I have that date that somebody's expecting it by. So you can take the quiz and see if this strategy might work for you. But accountability, the definition over here on the right on the slide, is taking responsibility for your actions and the actions of your coworkers if you have them, or the actions of your family members if you have them, or you can change that out. But taking responsibility for your actions, I think sometimes we forget what accountability is, and it can sting. Accountability can be really hard to come when it comes down to the action that you took or didn't take and the outcome of that. But the benefit of that is when it does sting and we face that rough consequence of us maybe not following through on that accountability, that's when accountability can become even more powerful if we continue to accept that that doesn't define us after a one-time lapse or mistake or lack of follow through. But if we accept that as being something we can work on, take responsibility for it, and make adjustments going forward, it can be really, really powerful. But we do have to be accountable to someone or something for accountability to work. There has to be somebody holding us responsible, and we have to take responsibility for it. Having someone hold us responsible and then us making excuses is not going to be accountability working. So accountability will work for you if you are in a mental and emotional space, and if you are an obliger where you're willing to be coachable, where you're willing to grow and change and adapt. So options that you have available to you to keep you accountable, this doesn't encompass all of them, but it gives you some ideas, include the accountability partner. So this could be someone who is a reliable colleague, a boss, a trainer, or a fitness professional that we have on our team, a coach of some sort. It could be a professional coach or a drawing coach, a riding coach, if you ride horses, anything like that, a teacher, family member, a friend. And these can be either professional or personal options. But one caveat here is that when you are going with a personal option, like a family or friend or a community member, note that they may not have accountability to keep you accountable. So there may be a disconnect there. And so you'll want to select an accountability partner who you do believe will follow through on holding you accountable and won't feel like it's too much to hold you accountable to the actions you said you would take or that they were expecting you to take. Another option for you, if you're looking to add accountability in to enhance your motivation to follow through, are accountability groups. So AA is a great example of this, Alcoholics Anonymous. Weight Watchers is another great example of a group of people. Study groups, for studying for a particular exam or a class, fitness classes are a great way to have an accountability group. Teams, so your team that you work within or a team that you play on, and networks. So we do have networks here at HP, like the Women at Work Network and Next Gen and Black Employee Network and all kinds of other networks that where you can find accountability with a like-minded group of individuals. A third accountability option is being the client, having a client, customer, or student under you. So getting paid or volunteering for whatever task it is that you're wanting to do. So this was one for me that I always told people when I worked inside the fitness center. Now I manage the fitness center, so I mostly work outside of the fitness center. But when I was in the fitness center and a group fitness instructor, personal trainer, and that was a part of my job responsibilities, it was not hard for me to get in my exercise. So if you can get paid to exercise, that's a great way to add that in. Or if you can get paid to teach nutrition or to create healthy meals, that's wonderful. So find a way to have a client, customer, or student pay you for whatever it is that you're wanting to improve. A fourth accountability option is duty. So there are people, we have duty to our future selves, duty to others, duty to be a role model. Some of us feel that as a duty. That's one thing I do. Being in the fitness industry, I do feel a duty to be a role model to others by eating healthier and exercising and living a healthy lifestyle where I'm getting enough sleep. And you may feel the same duty to your family members to do that, or to your colleagues, etc. And then a fifth accountability option is making a payment. Paying for something of value leads to accountability. So sometimes when things are free, it doesn't hold you as accountable as something that you are paying for. So we do offer free one-on-one fitness consultations where we put together a program for you and you can then go do that on your own. But we also offer the service and solution of fee-based personal training. To those free ones we do twice a year. But we do offer fee-based personal training that helps you more regularly throughout the year, like weekly or even multiple times a week, but you do pay for it. The benefit to that is it keeps you much more accountable to following through and coming in and doing those workouts than if you were even eating healthier or sleeping better, because with your trainer, you talk about those things, than if you were doing the free twice a year sessions and just trying to get your workouts on your own. So paying for something, if you're an obliger, this may be something of value to you. So those are some of our accountability options and our quick recap on accountability and who it can work for. If you could put in the chat box if you think that accountability is, or which of these accountability tactics you might add in to your goal to be able to meet your goal, or that you want to be motivated to complete. Go ahead and put that into the chat box. I'd be interested to hear what of these options you might be interested in exploring more of. Besides that, our March motivation tip is watching a movie to increase your motivation in March. So have you watched any of these movies or others that you have found motivating? Go ahead and put that in the chat box if there's any of these movies or others. Jill, thank you. I'm glad it was impactful for you to learn about accountability. It was for me as well. I was able to really use this strategy of accountability to change my follow through at work and with family and tasks at home, as well as my own fitness and health and well-being. So Jenny, accountability is everything for you. Yes. Thank you. We must all be obligers here today. But thank you everybody for joining, and go ahead and put in the chat box if you have any March movies you're checking out. And we will see you next Wednesday for our midweek motivation. Have a good one.